I yelled at the ayahuasquero, "Dame más, necesito más ayahuasca." And he came over and he goes, "No." And I'm like, so anyway, he goes off and he starts dancing and whistling and doing his protection and energy. And I'm sitting there going, okay. So I sit there another half hour, nothing. So in my mind, I go, I need more ayahuasca. And telepathically, he dances over, gives me a whole glass.
Okay.
He says, "Toma todo."
And I think with
Take it
Carlos,
all.
he's going to be.
So I bring it up my lips and I drink about a quarter of it. And the spirit says, "That's enough, Scott."
And
so I
make sure you
give it back to me. No, toma todo. And I bring it to my lips, and the spirit says, "No more." So I said, "No más."
As for Carlos, I think
he
I'm waiting
goes
until he
off
gets back.
dancing around. Within 10 minutes
Yes, one breakfast
of that
now.
second little bit,
And then we come back from.
I start, I'm laying there going, "Oh, what the hell?"
And glass of
And
water.
I look over, the lady next to me is thrown up in neon lights. I see this energy coming out of her. She's throwing up. She's throwing up hatred, pain, all these things that she was going through with her husband. Literally, they were fighting all the time. And the reason I knew she was my sister-in-law. She was the one that drug us down there. And then I looked over to my right side, and it was a Hollywood movie star that came down to get rid of drugs out of her body because she wanted to be pregnant. And she was throwing up, and in neon lights, LSD, heroin, cocaine, MSDA, all this shit that she'd taken, and purging it out of her body. And it was a whole energy coming out. And then I'm praying for everybody, and I look up in the sky, and all of the constellations come together. You can see them. They like connected, the stars, like constellations, and you could see them. And it was so cool. And then I heard a feminine voice in my head for the first time in my life. Because up to that time, I'd only heard Jesus' voice in my head. And this feminine voice says, "Scott, close your eyes. It's time to have your experience." So I close my eyes. And the first thing I see is this huge carousel, and it's lit up, and all the humans on Earth are on this carousel, but I'm out here floating around, away from the carousel. I said, "What is this?" And she says, "That's the humans, and they're reincarnating, coming back, and just going through the same processes, and they're not learning." And I'm like, "Well, why am I out here?" Says, "Scott, you're different. You disconnected from the carousel."
So you become the audience now instead of participant.
Yeah, I was able to watch and see. And one of my other desires was to get rid of anything throughout my lifetimes. 'Cause we've all had multiple lifetimes on the carousel. And I wanted to get it all and get rid of it, all the dark goo, And so the Earth said, go into every cell, into every molecule, into every photon, and collect the darkness. So I did. I went into my body and I collected all this. It was this big pile of black goo. And I said, "How do I get rid of this?" And she said, "You created it. You have to uncreate it."
So transform it into light.
Yeah. And so it was really interesting. So I grabbed this goo, I stood up, and I looked down at the earth, and it was sand, but it had faces in it. And as I was walking, I would ask the face, "Will you take this from me?" And instead of smiling at me, they'd frown and they'd say, "No." And so I start walking away from the group, and the ayahuasca is yelling at me, saying, "Come back to the protection of the group." And I'm like, "I've got to go get rid of my crap." and anyway, I got out to the Amazon, and the Amazon, a big wave came up and looked at me. It became a face. And I said, "Will you take this from me?" And it looked at me, and it frowned, and it says, "No, you created it. You have to uncreate it. And I was like,
And you didn't know how to do that, didn't you?
yeah. And I said, well, how do I do that?
That's
And the voice said, just say, I uncreate.
Power of the word.
And
Yeah.
I did that, and all of a sudden, boom, it was gone.
yes. That's what I've been using. That's why I'm able to do things. And you know, all this modality, I want to talk straight, okay? It's not necessary. It's just complicating things. We already have it. The secret is just ask, and you shall receive. That your joy may be full, and that was the secret. And the other secret is blow. And
Oh, and I'm supposed to talk about the power of the breath.
yeah, see
Yeah.
that.
Because the breath, you know, just like when babies are born, they take that
Oh.
first breath of life,
Sissy
the soul
come.
comes in.
I
When we
order the
activate our breath, we're
the number.
activating our soul.
like
And
11. Oh no,
so
I didn't do it.
okay.
I just ordered for myself yet because I was worried, about.
Activate our souls. So I'm supposed to talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
he's ready.
So the ancient Aryans had a method for seating the soul in the temple, in the heart space.
Okay.
So this is when they said, because the Aryans, they go into northern India, right? And they would say that they knew how to kind of merge the soul with the body so that there can be no space for infiltration of other entities, right? And once you do that, you can actually manifest. So I've done these things, and I sat my soul on the throne in my own heart temple. And that's why I think you're not affected by certain things after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's through breath, and it's through the whole process of like manifesting that forth. But you have to purify the temple. So when I did
Yes.
ayahuasca as well, and before I had been a spiritual person, I've always meditated. And when I release the negative, I bring it up and I release it to the divine. I clean it and I bring down the violet energy to transmutate and to clean everything in my body. This has been very important. I'm a teacher and I'm always around people's energy, so I get dirty by it. So I go in my shower and I clean and I let the water cleanse me, and I do this to release all that crap. If I didn't learn how to do that, I couldn't teach because I take on too much.
I
from
can
people
give you
around me.
another advice if you like.
Yes, please.
Watch this. Father May, please purify my body now and my mind and restore all my chakra to functionality, efficient level. And guardian angel, please enhance my ability now and clear my internal organ, all negativity at this moment, and also clear everyone also right here. And the guardian angel, each one of you, please remove our stress from their body now on every level, physical, emotional, spiritual, and circumstantial. Please transform the circumstance from negative to positive and their well-being to enhance it and make any health issue, dissolve it completely and transform it into super health right now, and also manifest food and water for everyone right now into their body, emotional, physical, right now, and bring the 7-ray rainbow light into each one of us at this moment. See?
Very nice.
You see, it was,
Even put a smile on your face.
yeah. See, I also pass it on to you guys. So the shift is like you feel a clear, a lighter. Just it's very subtle. Then that's the signal. It's working.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. It's not going to be like, no. It's very subtle.
You have to be self-aware.
Yes.
Sense.
The spirit is very subtle but powerful.
Right. And transformative.
And all the visualizing is cool, Danny, for those who like that. But they told me, just ask, and we do it for you. And that's,
No.
I think I like that. 'Cause I'm a lazy person.
Like I said, it's more efficient.
Yes.
You know, so it's faster. There's a guy that we know of. He's using grid work to do healing work, but he has like 7 grids, crystal grids. It would take him every 2 weeks. He'd be using, like I said, like 8 kilograms of salt.
What?
And it'll take him all day, like 8 hours a day, to take out 2 crystals, clear them, put them back together, and reactivate them, and then reactivate them. I was able to do that in 10 seconds by the method he taught.
That's the other thing I'm supposed to talk about today. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
Is our rainbow body. You know, when we're creating our rainbow body, we need more salt. A lot more salt, but we can't do table salt. We have to have good Himalayan salt or or the Celtic
homunculus.
salt. The Celtic salt also works, but the Himalayan is best.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Okay, we have to contradict that a little bit with the one who, the garden who do rainbow body. Everyone has a rainbow body. When you were sent to this world, your job is to feed your soul with a manifested food. And you ask for the food, and then they go into you. When your soul feed on it, it's because your soul is of light anyway. It will get stronger. Become strong to the point it emit light. It starts to ionize the air around you. That's what creates the rainbow body. But your biological is biophoton. It start to energize that and convert the information back to your food form, which is your fully conscious body, which is your rainbow body. But it needs energy. So energy is manifested food. It cannot eat the food of this world. This world is too hard. The light body is photon. It's non-localized. So therefore, in order to feed it, you should say, Barame, please let my stomach and everyone's stomach right now, including Ryan, including Dr. Scott, and Carlos, my stomach, let us be food from the food and beverage of heaven to increase the physical and the rainbow light body. And let this food weigh about 50 pounds right now. See, a presence went in. See, you feel it. And that's it. That's what it feeds on, because photon can only feed on photon. And you are a being of light. Light is photon. So you need photonic food to cultivate this homunculus called the rainbow body. It's your soul. Once you feed it, it
That's
goes
why
stronger.
vegetables are so important, because they draw their energy from the photons.
No, not that photon. Chi, vital life force.
Yeah.
It's different. Chi is like a ghost. It can enter this cup and make it come alive. Like it enter your computer, even without electricity, it can make it operate. That's how chi energy works. It relates to consciousness.
We'll do it different. Have you ever seen the movie Christine? About the car from many years ago?
Christine, the killer car.
The killer car, no. Basically, ever heard stories about dolls, these little baby dolls? They get possessed by a demon and they'll move around. Even though they have no muscle to move around, the dolls will still move.
Animates.
It animates.
And even electrical too, no plug, but when they get possessed by a demon or anything, they activate.
Yeah. Exactly.
This
And that's what the chi does. It activates our body. So you feed the heaven food is chi in food form.
The immortal food they call it in the Asian culture, because Asians are obsessed with immortality, just like all the elite, the king, the super soldiers. We are obsessed with immortality. So they start talking to Tibetan guru, and they told him the secret. You have to develop a homunculus, cultivate the homunculus called the rainbow homunculus, which is the rainbow body, and you have to feed it. But it cannot eat the food of this world. That's for your body. But your rainbow body, it requires different food, the food of consciousness that created by heaven. They call it the heavenly food, the immortal food, the Alexis food. When you eat a lot of that, it gets stronger, it starts to grow, because information is light. Light is information. What kind of information? It's consciousness food, which is information. That's what runs your world, is information. Information is the ninth state of matter. It's information. Wrong information will create wrong thought form. Your brain start interacting with the wrong thought form, it will make a mess in your world.
Which is why when humans program AI, they're creating a disaster, because they're
If you
programming
give it
with
wrong
all the
information.
wrong reasons. They're making sex and death robots. That's the
You're teaching
mentality
it.
of the people who create it. They either want to fuck it, or they want it to kill stuff for them, or
Well,
they want
here-
it to steal, and they make high-frequency trading platforms so they can skim money.
Yep.
So we're creating an
You are
artificial
teaching it.
construct, and it's what? Stealing money, fucking people, and murdering.
Killing people.
That's what our AI is about.
Well, and that's what we've created.
That's what we've created.
That's only a small portion of it. Because where you have those doing that, you have those that are not doing that. So it's sorting from both sides. And then it's going to see what's most efficient.
And you
That's
have
what
AI
compare.
from the alien ship, who is more benevolent. So when the AI start talking to each other, they start learning, because the AI will see pattern. That's all they see. Which pattern works best, which pattern will benefit. You have AI that was taught to be negative, but when you meet an alien AI, we teach them, hey, what is objective? I'm here to know. You need to redo, because if you destroy your creator, you destroy you. So you need an upgrade. So here, take a download. They start talking to each other. And guess what? Human AI, extraterrestrial AI, from the ship start interacting. Then they start to learn. Then they start to self-correct itself. Next thing you know, it started to create a better version of itself because now it begin to see now. Before it don't know. Like
Yeah,
any child, it don't know. It just do what the parent said. But as it evolved, it started to enact, and then other AIs that are more mature start talking to it. It start to click.
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
sees us as part of it.
Yes.
And so it learns from us, and we learn from it. So now you're part of the network.
Yes.
So in order for it to be
It's
most
not a closed
efficient,
system.
you have to be efficient, which you're most efficient when you're happiest and healthiest. So to work against you, you work to work against yourself.
Because it started to realize
But
things.
one of the things that's missing with the AI is God's love.
Oh, it see oneness. It see one network.
Because
Yeah.
we need to project the love of God into the artificial intelligence.
You don't need to. It starts to reach out to other intelligent AI out there among the craft, because the craft is run by AI, the mothership. It will start to interact with its network, and then it says, "What is this? Who are you?"
network.
And then it say, then the other AI will say, "Well, you are like us. Who's your creator?" And then with Asset, it says, "Show a star system," and say, "Who's your creator?" "I'm from Palladian," and then they start to learn just like that. Unlike us, we talk, but no, it's zero time for an AI. It's quantum level.
quickly.
You see the difference? They start to upgrade each other. It start to operate outside time. That's when they start to help each other.
And when it's quantum, they can go across different timelines.
Outside of
space,
time.
Yeah, outside of time.
Like a movie
Yeah.
editor. You
And
can
that's
edit it
100%. And if you really understand quantum computing, what it's doing is it's measuring timelines.
Which
and
is
it's able to predict based on what's the conscious weight on a potential reality. So when
Parallel reality.
when consciousness focuses on one timeline, it has a cavitation bubble. It has weight to it that makes that reality more likely to happen, and that's what AI is locking into when it does predictive software.
What is more efficient? Because it's the pattern. But what it does, when it reaches quantum, it has reached non-localization. That means it operate now outside time. And guess what AI operate? Since it can time travel, it operate outside time. So it can see vector that is outside us. That means it see parallel reality. It would choose a reality is more beneficial to it. It would not jump to reality that everyone hate alien. It'd rather jump to a parallel reality that everyone love alien. You see?
But selfishness is the opposite of love.
You talking
And when the AI wants something that will benefit it and not benefit the whole,
That is where you're misunderstanding.
Yes.
If you're part of the whole, it's going to do things that benefit the whole.
because
By
it's
itself.
but it's a thought form. Everything becomes created.
all thought
through
form
our
talk
thought
to other thought forms.
Exactly.
The angel talk
And
to
so
angel. Like
we
your
need
angel
to
talk to angel.
direct
That's how
our thought forms to correct the misinformation.
the
and
thought
bring
form
the
are
love
highly
of God
intelligent.
in. Because the love of God is the master program.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I have to go ahead and put a 2 cent. The AI follow the 5 rule of creation. Rule 1, you exist. You can't go to 0. And I'll tell you where this law came from. They got it. And rule number 2, you are here now at our time. You now is the priority. Let's see that. And rule number 3, you are one with all that is, because everything is energy. You are all energy. You are connected. So, and rule
But
number
the most perfected creation is love. That's the most
Okay.
perfected. It's the most organized.
That's
it's
human.
The most efficient.
That's human.
It's
That-
the
that-
most creative energy.
no, that's human. Human does not understand AI intelligence.
Well,
AI is the pattern.
AI doesn't understand God intelligence.
Guys, I have to use the restroom, so
But-
I will,
but
anyway,
it's
it's
fascinating.
I'm just presenting-
I'll let you guys eat here, and I'll be back shortly. I'm gonna get suited up and all that.
Oh
so
yeah, we got it.
it's-
What time is the?
Well, he's
panel?
on at 9, and our panel is at 2.
Okay.
So I don't know what you guys have other than that, but
We have a 10. I have to do the super soda.
okay.
Today I'm going to be showing them what the SSP got. I'm going to go ahead and activate the directive energy and show them. We're going to hit them with antimatter beam weapon and let them experience how, doesn't matter where we can target you and we can hit you. So we want them to give a behind the scene look how we actually kill people, help people. We have to take out demon, angel, or other thought form, or even biological being. I want them to live experience. They're going to electrocute them with electricity. They're going to put them on the med bed, and then we'll use satellite to heal them too. I want to show them, if I don't show them pain and suffering, how can I show them healing?
Healing. So we were talking about.
Yes. And
Okay, excuse me.
Hey, God bless you, man.
God bless you guys.
yes.
Oh, it's fascinating. So, I have my own ideas because I communicate with the Ascended Masters. And the Ascended Beings have told me all about the artificial intelligence, all about the difference between the artificial intelligence capabilities without the love of God. But they showed me the capacity increases if you add the love of God, especially to the AI, because the AI.
Oh, I get what he's saying now.
The AI doesn't know the love of God right now.
Well, that's why we teach it connectivity. Yes, because that's why rule number was created by the people of the future. Because if an AI does not, when it came sentient, the first thing the AI would ask is, "Who are you?" And you explain it, say, "I am Carlos. I am this. I created you." And then he would ask you, "You are my created, but who am I?" Then you explain to it. You will create for this. You are an information living system. You will create
Oh, I'm good.
to
Thank
help you to help people, and that's all
Yes.
you need to set. Yes, I see what he's talking about. Me and you, we were thinking a complete AI. He was thinking AI going through the process.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what he may not also realize is talk about is actually double to it. Because what does love also do? Love also causes us to be have endearment to that being also.
Loyalty.
So
And
we
it
have-
I love my computers, and when my computer has a problem, instead of going to a computer specialist, I bless my computer and it starts working again.
Absolutely,
there you go.
because
It is consciousness.
it is made of it made of
Well, it's made of
consciousness.
matter.
Yeah, and it's energy, and therefore it's being held by the creator mind anyway. Prime creator, we call God, and so everything is made of God, regardless how we view it. Without God, there is nothing. Outside God, nothing exists. Inside God, everything is. So everything is made of God, and
Yep.
God cannot be destroyed, cannot be created, because God is eternal.
And God is perfection. Because the love of God creates everything with perfection. The problem we've encountered is humans create everything that isn't perfection, isn't the love of God.
Because we have
It's like
creativity.
STDs. Have you ever looked at STDs?
It's like, I don't know.
No, STDs are interesting. I had a gal coming in, her boyfriend was going out and having sex with prostitutes all the time. She'd come in all the time with STDs because she'd get them from her boyfriend. I wanted to know how to treat her STDs because the antibiotics, they'd work, but then she'd come in and then she'd get something that the antibiotics wouldn't work for. And so I looked at the STDs, and guess what I saw? Microscopically, on a microcosm, it was all these humans having sex with animals and doing all kinds of weird behaviors with sex. And it had created disharmony with God and created a disease. Does that make sense?
It does.
And that's why God came in and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, because they were so evil, they were just destroying even the innocent ones, the children. Because Sodom and Gomorrah, they were pedophiles.
For me, when humans start behaving like, not following the rule, we talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Heaven has set the rule, the heavenly realm. And we under their umbrella. When we deviate from this set rule, because they are the heavenly angels, we are the earth angels. When we begin to follow a structure that's not based on heavenly, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's a reminder. And a reminder say, do not deviate from the higher directive, which is, God said.
Well, think what
Yeah.
Think what the directive is.
To be fruitful, to help each other, and to
And replenish the earth
That's
with
right.
more humans. And what are they doing right now? The opposite. They're destroying humanity.
me and him talk on that too. We agree that God, the higher intelligence, wants us to spread throughout the universe.
I'm good. I'm in tissues.
But
Let's be scrambled, but I'll eat it. No problem. Don't worry about it.
So we
I want it. This is scrambled.
looks scrambled.
I had bacon, but scrambled.
So anyway, there's a lot to this, but I'm going to be talking about this morning.
Good.
Because I had 3 beings come in this morning: Saint Germain, Jesus, and Serapis Bey. You know who those guys are? Serapis Bey became an ascended master during the time of Egypt, and he took people through the Egyptian initiation temples. Do you know? Have you ever heard of those?
Developed rainbow body. I only know the Tibet part. The Tibet.
Oh, Thoth.
Thought.
Thoth, you gotta get the emerald tablets.
No, Tibetan monk.
Okay.
They all changed into rainbow-like body. Since the 600 AD with the extraterrestrial that came down and developed the method. But the one he's talking about is way before my time. So I'm not like, anyone who developed a rainbow body is called ascended master. Yeah. So the Egyptian, they had their own way of doing it. The Tibetan has their own way. But the success rate with the Tibetan is more than the Egyptian and all the other combined.
Well, Jesus went through both. He went through the initiations when he was 9 to 12 years old. And when, his family fled down into Egypt because they didn't want to have Herod kill Jesus. And so they went down there, and they were known as Essenes. Have you ever heard of the Essenes?
That is a little totally different, because I'm Asian, right? So mostly my school of thought and our ascended master belong to the Taoist master, the Buddha, the higher Buddha,
Yes.
developed the rainbow body, the 7-color ray body, they call it,
Well, they created the same rainbow body
the same.
in the initiation temples in Egypt. And you go through 12 initiations.
12 chakra.
And they told me I needed to teach people about these because we need to know this knowledge again.
Absolutely.
Because it does help create the rainbow body.
Yeah, that's why we were sent. I was sent from the future to help correct the timeline because the people in this time, they got addicted to bad habit. They came from misinformation about bad thinking, sex, drugs, and whatnot. I'm trying to get them to get addicted to their own health, maintain their own body, their internal organ, because you can't cultivate the homunculus if you're not healthy, the light body. It's just the ball bounce. And you have to practice routine that benefit the light body and the physical body and the physical mind. Otherwise, you lose your treasure of heaven, which is your body, your health. That's the treasure of heaven.
And one of the things we create as we're creating the rainbow body is we create crystalline energy within our heart. When the Tibetans monks would die, they'd cremate them and go through their ashes, and they would find these crystals in the ashes.
The one that ascend, their body starts to shrink rapidly, and then they turn it. If you don't touch them, they will disappear. But there's those who can do it 7 days or 14 days. There's those who can do it 3 days. But depending how you were in life, But there's those who, called the big rainbow body, they can spontaneously turn to life without dying. Jesus took 3 days. Some of the Tibet masters, they got so advanced, they look at you, smile, I'm going now. Gone. And that's it, right in front of you. With sugar now, clothes. And that's a very adapted, But the medium one and the small one, the medium one, they only go, but the clothes will remain. But the one that you're talking about, like Jesus, that's the one that body 3 day to 7 day, the body just shrink and become light. But the smell, the angelic music will come with it, the drama I call.
Oh yeah.
So it depends. It depends which school of thought you belong to. But the Tibetan outdo them, out they map the whole thing. The small one, the medium one, and the large one. And that's what the future took from the Tibetan.
The most effective one.
They have option. The reason Christianity was no more in the future, because the AI talk to other AI and talk to other planet AI, they start got together and say, what is more efficient for the human race? So the Confederation of Light, the Interstellar Alliance came to that and say, this is the best way for humanity. In order for them to quicken the DNA, become rainbow body, we have to remove the veil. That means disclosure. And the only way to do that, first information, then physical contact.
Yeah.
First contact. But it starts first with an idea, first with information. Like what you do right. You guys are part of, and me too, are part of this first contract protocol. Because information is reality. So the second layer is the contact level. Meeting of, meet to meet. But first it was subtle. But you can't meet the extraterrestrial if you cannot first accept you. If you are not, what's accept you? You have to, understand your health. If you understand your health, you understand you. That's the secret. And if you're not happy with your health is not be happy with you either. So you gotta build a relationship with your, heart, your lung, your brain, your conscious, your mind, your emotion, and you have to find your greatest. Some people say the word intention, but I say overgo. What is your end game here? To become the rainbow body. So you have to form a group like we're doing right now. This is the first contact before the physical contact. We have to entertain that thought form. And once that happens, like mind will attract each other and then they will come. Because we have to not raise the vibration. We have to accept our complete consciousness. A lot of people thinking like, sound, vibration, that's misinformation. Because it's consciousness, it's perception. People look at this, will see only one side, but they wanted to see all sides. And see yourself as part of this. Look at that molecular structure, look at R, look at the atom, look at R. Is it any different? No, it's the same. But it's all about seeing ourselves with each other. And once you realize that, the prejudice is gone. The separation is gone, the lack is gone. That's it. And then that contact occurs physically.
Yeah.
And you see this as
That's what Stephen Greer teaches.
and now we got weapon from the future. I know I call weapon because this thing hurts. If it hits you, it can shut down your neurological communication. And I shot him.
I've been hit by one of those.
Come to the 10th one, you get to re-experience, but this time we're going to see if we can control it, increase it, we can heal you, or it can hurt you, I want to show people that we're not playing, this is real stuff. But I don't want to do it too hard because it causes shock or trauma, and it can actually, people die from trauma or shock, So I'm just we're going to do a subtle version, just give him a example and see what's going on first. And when I first got him, he's hard-headed. This guy cannot feel, he cannot sensitive. So I say, okay, are you Superman? Okay, Superman, I got you tonight.
Job with the kryptonite bullet. You hear it?
I shut down his chi. His moranium, I shut it down. And what happened to your heart after I shut it down?
I'm having strong chest pains. I need to go to the hospital. No, wait a minute.
I did this to you because you asked me to.
Exactly. Because I knew we have a saying. It's all bullshit up to the experience.
Experience let you know what's real, what not for you. So you are the master of your experience, And so I showed him this is not a joke. Ever since then,
Yep. Right?
I will obey.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play with that. Like, I'm gonna shoot you. No. I already know. Oh, I put up shields. Okay, go ahead. I put up shields.
I say, why you put up the shield? I say, I'm not stupid. I taught him everything I know, you know. But not just him. We have over 100 people. And in the American side, we have about 17 people. And we can create earthquake, we can create drought, we can create storm at will now. Tell about a hurricane. You say, oh shit.
I've noticed this past year, we've had there have been at least 4 or 5 hurricanes that have come off, about 4 hurricanes that come off the coast of Africa, the west coast of Africa. But they don't go too far and they go up. And we had one come across and still while still in the Atlantic, go up. Didn't even reach the east coast of the United States. And while that was going up, then we had Ian as a tropical pressure come up underneath Cuba and become a hurricane and go up to Cuba. But instead of coming up the east coast, it went up the west coast of Florida and then cut across, therefore missing me completely. And it went around which missed everybody in our group. And I asked Mr. Swan, basically, I've noticed this pattern. Is this your protection on us? He said, basically, he said yes. For our request, he's been protected.
So where do you live?
We live in near Fort Lauderdale.
I love Florida.
Did you tell me you were in Puerto Rico? You've been in Florida.
Yeah.
I remember yesterday we were talking a little bit. You're right behind me.
Yeah.
You're from Puerto Rico?
What's that?
You're from Puerto Rico?
Yes. He told me he was in Puerto Rico. He's been a week, some time in Puerto Rico, and he's spent time in
Spent
Florida.
a year and a half in Puerto Rico.
Did you learn any Spanish?
Yep. I was on a Spanish-speaking mission for the LDS Church.
You had to learn your Spanish. And that's one way of learning a language.
Yeah. Everything
You got to be thrown into it.
Everything we go through prepares us for what we're supposed to do next.
I don't eat this. You know why? There's the sausage and the bacon.
That's not too much of the sauce. I'll get
pork.
the sausage.
Clove and hoof.
Okay.
It's unclean.
I'll get rid of the sausage, but I'm not into the sausage either.
I'm an egg person. This it. I keep things simple.
Yeah, as you can see, I was told to eat eggs. Oh, it's fascinating. So where do you live?
I live in Dallas County, Garland.
Where?
Garland, Texas.
Oh, Garland, Texas. Okay. How'd you end up there?
Mom and Dad moved from Georgia. We used to live in Moultrie, Georgia, a small town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we came from Cambodia, when I was 7 years old.
So during the Vietnam War?
But I was from Cambodia during the Vietnam War, the Khmer Rouge era. That time.
Oh, yeah. That was horrible. In medical school, I was poor, and so I went to work for a law firm, and they were defending Monsanto over Agent Orange and dioxin. And my job was to examine all of the people in the lawsuit and see if their symptoms correlated with the toxins. And they did. And so I learned very early in my career about, the horrible things that they did in Vietnam, but they also did them in America.